The song that I chose to do for my song meaning presentation is Titanium by David Guetta. At first, I thought this was just an overplayed song on the radio that was put in ads, movies, anything that you can name it. And I hated to hear the same song over and over and over again, just put into different mixes, different movies. It just started to annoy me. But once I actually started to listen to the lyrics itself, I realized how meaningful the song really was, even just in the first verse. One can see like just the meaning behind David Guetta's lyrics and what everything meant to him. So it does just go beyond these three movies that are very popular for having the song in it. After doing some research on like the critics, what they say about his song, it was actually really interesting to hear David Guetta's background and everything that he started off doing. He was actually I think of him as a somewhat of a pop singer just due to his like big recent hits, but he's actually a member of a completely generation of electronic sculptors, as was said, with roots and scenes in the clubs in the 80s and 90s, which was really interesting to read. And this is a quote that I got from Time magazine. And while Guetta was instrumental in conditioning popular music for the rise of DJs and producers, with his last two records, Listen finds himself falling half step behind today's dominant forces. So Time was actually criticizing David Guetta for his like original roots in his music and how he's sort of transformed today into more of just a top 40s artist, which I found really interesting. Um, Another article also stated that he failed to reach the heights of his contemporaries, which means like he failed to reach his like potential that was seen as an electronic sculptor, and that was his initial goal. And the album that Titanium was actually published in, Listen, was actually one of his most personal records to date that he claims, even though nobody really would notice just by noticing his top single from that. He actually wrote it shortly after his divorce of his longtime spouse, and this song sort of represents everything that he had fought and persevered through, which I found really came through in the song lyrics, especially in the first verse. Like right off the bat, it just comes off so strong. And this is another quote that I found from another music critic saying that the vocals and empowering words of like the singer-songwriters here moved Titanium above the quality level and standard of David Guetta club track, which I found was like another dig towards his actual work itself and was sort of just giving the entire credit of this top song that hit the top of the charts to Sia. And I completely understand where they're coming from. Her voice is so great and so strong in the song, but I found it very interesting how they completely discredit David Guetta's entire album and his entire success with Titanium so simply and don't even look at the lyrics itself. He does come from a very different background, and now most people will regard him as just another top 40s artist, but it's really interesting to see where an artist will go with their entire journey. So that's why I chose Titanium after doing some research. It is actually now one of my favorite songs. So I thought it was really interesting to see in his background beyond just his like top hits and what the critics has actually said about it.